Hey guys, I'm PM Asher,
And I'm Blacksmith.
and we're here to show you Dungeon Defenders 2. So, welcome to the weekly defense. Okay, I should just not read the chat.
Yes, that would be safer.
So, guys, welcome to the weekly defense. As you know, this is where we give you an update on all things trendy and all things Dungeon Defenders. As always, we have contests every 10 minutes where you can win these awesome Squire Heart Boxers. As I wait for Butter to show them to everyone who's already seen them.
Fantastically
Oh
tight.
man, it's covering the new skin, which everyone can already see.
Yeah.
So we'll walk around with this for a second. So actually, this is the Ebon Fire Warlord skin, which is going to
Fire.
be
Dank Fire Squire.
Dank Fire Squire.
Dank Fire.
Dank
Guys,
Fire
which name do
Squire.
you like best, Ebon Fire or Dank Fire?
Dank Fire.
Does this one have the
Vote
bug
now.
where if you heal, stuff remains there?
Yeah, it does. So you should totally
Nice,
do
you
it
should totally
everywhere.
do it everywhere. I do agree with that. Well, you can't heal yourself when you're full health.
Yeah, you gotta damage yourself.
Oh my god.
I guess it's a little hard to do that in the
Yeah.
tavern. You should
Unless-
turn that HUD off for a second so we can show everyone the gloriousness.
Off the skin.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is the new Squire skin. He's the coolest Squire skin to date.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, still got a little bit of his goofy run
Yeah.
going on.
He does have,
We can see it here.
obviously, a suite of animation and VFX things as well that you'll get
Yeah.
to see as Butter plays.
But this is just a work in progress right now. But yeah, so he's going to be one of the next skins we release, which is super exciting. With this isn't our full reveal for the week. Our full reveal is going to be at the end of the stream, but they'll be tied together a little bit. So I think pretty excited about that. So you'll also notice in the corner of the stream today we have more the Harbinger for you guys. So if you watch this video playing, this is one of the unique animations the Harbinger has.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of his abilities, actually.
I believe so. Once
So
we
yeah, so
play it.
you'll see here. Do you know which ability this is?
I believe they're doing either. Yeah, I know what do we want to talk about the fight or
Why don't
not?
you just talk about this ability a little?
He's definitely interacting with something in the environment, and he's causing it to do something to something else that you should prevent.
Mm-hmm. So how is the like inception of his arms being like floaty and
His
stuff?
arms
'Cause I know
being
something that
floaty.
they've seen a lot with the animation.
Yeah, it kind of I think started coming because we started working on Carl several years ago. Then we paused him for a very long time. Then we picked him up again, and we wanted him to be able to do a lot of like ranged attacks and melee attacks. So he obviously needed to be very versatile. In the temp mesh that we had, obviously had like a weapon and a crossbow, and it was just some temporary stuff. But then when Art got hold of it, they really wanted to concept these really big kind of hands that are tethered to him. And obviously, because of that, he can do a lot of melee attacks, a lot of ranged attacks. You'll gradually get to see a lot of his cool abilities, and that's kind of where it came from. Obviously, you can't see one hand now, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, sweet. So, guys, that's the Harbinger. We're going to have more on him as we go through the stream. But the first thing we're going to do today is actually play our new build of the game, which is actually with the loot test that we're doing.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we changed a lot with the loot, and we changed a lot with the progression in free play. And I think there's a handful. I think we're shooting for about 500 people to jump in and test it on kind of like a beta branch now. And the biggest goal with this, obviously, the loot changes are all about. We've been talking about this for a while, right? There's a lot of passives, there's a lot of stats in our game, and if you want a very specific stat like defense power to appear with like 2 or 3 passives, your chances of getting that is really low. And this is our first attempt at actually fixing it. So what happens is it kind of looks at the stat, and based on that stat, it knows what passives go really, really well with that stat, and it increases the chance to see those much higher. And that's the key change. And because of that, now you'll be getting a lot, better, smarter loot. And because of that, we kind of reduced the total quantity of garbage loot that you'd be getting.
Mm-hmm.
So it is potentially going to clean up your map experience. You won't be filling bags just as quickly. There won't be loot beams everywhere now, potentially. You're still getting a good chunk of loot, don't get us wrong, but it's not the insane amount that you were getting before. And it should hopefully be smarter loot. Obviously, we have a big group of you guys testing it out this weekend. There'll be a survey, and we'll continue to iterate on it from there.
Mm-hmm. Do you know about how many people that we've had apply to the group already?
Apply? I'm not entirely sure. I know we're taking about 500 is what we're aiming for.
Okay, and how many do we have so far?
We have, last I checked, we had about 100, and we were kind of ramping it up pretty quickly.
Cool. So, guys, if you want to join, please contact Danny. We'll be posting the email address in the chat below, and it'll really help us out, and it'll be kind of your chance to give us feedback over what the loot changes should be. And it's something we want to be very careful about because we need to make sure it's smart enough so we can reduce the amount of loot that's dropping.
Definitely should feel better. Have they seen the winter maps before?
They have. Danny said that it's 250 plus so far.
Yeah, there we go.
Sweet. Thank you, guys. So thanks, everyone, for applying, and we'd love for more of you to continue to apply. So also, I Am Isom is unfortunately out today. He's actually graced us with his presence for the whole week, and he's in the process of flying, or actually driving, back up to North Carolina. So Elandarian has wonderfully decided to take his place. So actually, instead of the Squire Boxers today, he's going to be giving away the TCG 9001 Monk Mask, which is normally given away at the Casters Guild after the stream. So if you guys want it, please type in hashtag Dankfire for a chance to win. It's not hashtag DD2. So that would explain why I've been seeing hashtag Dankfire. Yeah, and you only need to enter it once because that's all you need to enter. But if you want to enter it multiple times...
I mean, hashtag Dankfire is fun to type. So
It's a cool word to say.
Dankfire Squire.
So if you guys noticed, and this is something that we actually announced on the last Devstream, but along with... that was interesting. Along with the next patch, we'll also be releasing some winter-themed modes. So this is kind of the weather system that you guys saw us show off in Influence Week a while ago when Cliff, he's one of our tech artists, actually first kind of came up with the idea. So we are going to be implementing that for this patch, and you can see some of it here.
Yep. Definitely it's going to be the first time we kind of use this system. We intend to use it in a lot more cooler and interesting ways. We had some like tests that obviously you guys saw for Nightmare as well, and for Autumn and things along those lines. So this system will definitely get used a lot more often in the future.
So Ardric wants to know where your hair went.
My hair went away after Halloween. Yes, it's all gone now, or not all gone, but yeah, back to integrating with society, I guess. Sad.
Feel like you had to lose the hair to be part of society?
Yeah, it did feel that way. There was a lot of pulling off the hair and scratching, and that kind of isolated me for a while.
Okay. No one wanted to hang out with you because you were always scratching.
Like, oh, this crazy guy's walking down the streets.
So guys, this next patch is going to be pretty big. It's pretty exciting. We wanted to talk a little bit on the stream about the Harbinger fight in general, something we're probably going to show you guys in the next couple of weeks. I do want to let you guys know now that there will not be a dev stream next week. Why? For those of you that are in the United States, it's because it is Thanksgiving and we actually have off on Thursday and Friday. So everyone will be eating a lot of turkey and
a lot of turkey, a lot of food.
Yeah, and unfortunately we won't be on the dev stream this next week. So can people join you if they're on the special group? Nope. So I think we're playing a local copy of this right now. So unfortunately, he cannot be joined since it's the newer build. But if you would like to play this build, you can join the remote playtesting group and help us test out the loot changes before they go live. So also, guys, so we're doing a couple new things before the Harbinger comes out in December. And one of those things is the Steam group. So if you guys know that we have a Dungeon Defenders 2 Steam group on Steam, and we're starting to try a bunch of different ways to get a bunch of people to join the Steam group. Then we're going to be expanding some of our other channels as well. So why should you join? Well, it's basically going to be a way to easily, obviously you guys are on the dev stream, so you guys all probably already get all of your Dungeon Defenders news from here. Yeah, all your information from here or from the website, but it's a really good way to help other players who are getting new into Dungeon Defenders. They just checked it out, it's free, they want to know people to play with and play. It's a great way to help them out. And it's a way for us to kind of deliver news to people on Steam who are interested in Dungeon Defenders too. So if you guys haven't joined the Steam group already, we'd love for you to join and kind of check out the people who are on there, and feel free to help anyone that you like. So we say Danish Perfection. Any idea how long time you will be testing the new build before launching it to everyone?
I'm not entirely sure how long. We want to leave it up as much as possible, gather as much data as we can, and obviously send you guys the surveys and gather those surveys and read them. When you feel comfortable with kind of the changes and the feedback we've gotten, obviously we'll bring it down at that point.
Mm-hmm. So with that, I think we're going to start some of the questions. We're going to start them early this time. So the first question is, are there any plans for making it more useful to upgrade the Frostbite towers? Currently, upgrading only increases range and max HP.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, we talked a lot about this internally ourselves. Something that the Frostbite tower kind of does already is, or it did for a good chunk of time, was kind of empower it slow. But obviously, we couldn't take it up too high, so it wasn't really tangible. You couldn't really appreciate it. Things that we were looking at, obviously, increasing the range would be not off the tower itself, but off the slow area. That'll be really helpful as well, or really beneficial for people that have the Frostfire build and things that kind of rely on a larger slow area. So we have some ideas for this little tower, but we'll eventually do one of them. Right now, we're not really focusing on fixing existing towers really all that much. We're all focused on the Harbinger.
Yep. So says. So I'm not sure what you're saying, Olenis, but I think you're maybe asking about optimization, and we're constantly doing optimization in Dungeon Defenders too. If it's laggy on your computer, you can maybe send an email to the support team if you meet the minimum specs, and then they can help you out. So cool. So with that, I'm going to actually go into a brief update from Tim from the PS4 side. So as you guys know from last week, Tim is actually currently at Human Head Studios in Madison, Wisconsin. They're
cold place.
Yes, a very, very cold place. They're actually our partner for the PS4 version of the game. He's kind of working with them in order to get the next update, which is Loot and Survive, out for PlayStation 4. So we don't have a date right now, but we're kind of getting close to working on submission and targeting early December for the release of Loot and Survive. So this is the Wipe-A-Geddon update for PS4. So remember, we'll announce the date soon, but right now think early December to have 4 heroes at level 25. And if you do, you'll be able to get the really awesome Survivor Wipe-A-Geddon skins, as well as the Grumpy Pet.
Yeah.
Grumpy Pet as well. And just so you know, that's going into FQA this Sunday. And basically, if it passes, then we'll be able to announce a release date for all of you guys. And then in some other PlayStation news, which is really cool, Tim will also be attending PSX. So if you live in California or San Francisco and you're going to be going to PSX this year, then you can actually stop by and say hi to Tim. He'll be at a booth with 4 kiosks for Dungeon Defenders 2, and they're going to have the new patch up there as long as some higher level characters. So you can play and check out with him. You can see how how good he is. Let's see. Oh no, more hashtag dank fire. So there you go, guys. There's an update for PS4. I know I just saw some of you asking. And then hopefully, as soon as they submit the update and Tim gets back, he'll actually be back on site at Trendy, and we can have him on the stream.
Answer a bunch of your questions.
Yep, exactly. So really excited. You know, the PS4 actually did really well this last month. We've had a ton of people playing it every day. So thanks all of you PS4 users. I hope there's a bunch of you here on the stream today, and we will have more news for you shortly. Shrut Tomijaru, sorry I butchered that name horribly, says, any plans to retroactively give Grumpy empowerment stats?
It is something we talked about. Back then, the pet system was not as robust as it is now, so there are some cooler things that we can potentially do with kind of pet giveaways in the future. And we kind of feel bad about Grumpy being the way that he is. We did talk about it, but not anytime soon. We have a lot kind of bigger things or bigger fish to fry right now, but it is something that we did discuss doing. Yeah, it is unfortunate.
And we have a question from As the Light, which is, are premium pets supposed to always have the unique special, or is it random?
It is random right now. So you get the chance to get it. I know ability rerolls were kind of busted for a while. I'm not sure if they are still broken, but if they aren't still broken, you can use those to kind of reroll the passives or the ability. And if you didn't get it, you just keep rolling it until you get the right one. Same thing with the passive system and so on.
So Oshaicho90 says, what can I do with influence points?
So you gather those guys up, and every once in a while we do a vote on something important in the game, something we need your opinion on or help us to decide on, and then you can basically go to our website, our influence page, and cast a vote there.
Little War 195 says, for the PC version, are you guys focusing on adding more content to the game or just improving the current game?
It's split. We focus a lot on kind of improvement, looking at the feedback you guys are telling us, things that we potentially need to action on quicker. We kind of are split maybe 50-50 right now, maybe more than that, focused on a lot of feedback and iterating on the existing game, and obviously new content. We are working on the boss fight right now that you see, kind of the video in the background that we've been talking about for a while. So there's a mixture of new and a mixture of improvements as well.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to do a nice mix because some of the new stuff is also an improvement. Like getting the second boss into the game, I think would be pretty exciting for people.
Second boss, yeah. And I mean, the work we did with the passives as well is literally just a full improvement. Nothing really new there, so it's a good split.
Yeah, so you can guys kind of see here. It actually looks like a lot less loot is dropping.
A lot less loot, definitely.
Maybe after Butter takes out this ogre, we can take a look at some of the loot that he dropped, and you can kind of show off to everyone how the different stats are rolling together now.
Yep.
Do you know about what percentage... Hashtag loot height. Do you know about what percentage less the loot drops now?
Percentage-wise, I'm not entirely sure. It was around 50% for a while. It might have gone up or lower slightly, but it is around that range. We did cut it in by a good bit because we did feel like you are now getting higher quality loot. So, but we want to wait and see based on the feedback that you guys are giving us whether or not we did succeed with that.
Cool. So Neck D wants to know, when will we fix the bug where the monsters go past the blockades and attack them from behind?
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. We're still kind of working on it. We were hoping that increasing the size of the blockades would alleviate the problem. Obviously, though, if there's a gap and it's a wide enough gap for enemies to go through it, our desire is for those enemies to go through it. So if you are building your blockades in a way that leaves sizable gaps, you should probably try to build them closer together to fix that. But if that old issue is happening where they're kind of bumping up against it and kind of squeezing past it in weird ways, that's something we do want to watch out for, and if it's still happening, end up fixing.
So we have a question here from Lala Gito, which is actually a really interesting question and can bring up maybe some discussion, which is, can you guys add player names near the nameplate on the upper left, as well as the option to always keep names on? The social experience is kind of lacking.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot internally. We say that kind of the social pillar in our game right now is probably the weakest. There really isn't much other than being able to kind of group up with your friends or group up with some people, and it's the ability to talk via chat with them. We talked about a whole suite of things. Obviously, a lot of blue sky ideas, from like clans to a more like server-wide chat system and things along those lines that we'd like to do to kind of start empowering the social aspect of the game. On that thing that you specifically asked for, yes, definitely, we'd like to kind of expose or give you the option to expose players' names, or even if you're like really focused on kind of the role-playing aspect, hiding players' names and just revealing like Squire, Monk, Huntress, and things along those lines, or maybe the name of their skins as well. So there's some stuff that we wanted to do with the names, giving you the option to see people's names, maybe add them as a friend, do all that stuff, interact with them in far better ways. But yeah, there's a lot we'd like to do with social. It's just a matter of when.
So B-Dubs LP says, are there any plans to make it possible to turn off chat notifications for loot dropped?
That's an interesting... Right now there's no option to do that, but that is an interesting thing. We did talk about potentially when we were doing this whole loot thing, giving you guys the option to determine what tiers of loot have beams and which ones don't, or being able to turn those on and off in the options menu. It might be cool to have a section kind of designated to loot feedback, and then you can kind of turn things on and off as you see fit. Maybe on that, again, if we kind of bolster the chat system at some point, being able to turn on and off notifications and kind of customize your chat experience is definitely one of those things we're watching for.
So we have a question from Spawns, which says, when I talk or log in the game, it shows my email address next to my name. How do you change this? Email support.
Email support, and
Yes.
we will help you out.
Yep, so if you email support, we can do that. Question is, Dungeon Defenders coming out on the next gen? The original Dungeon Defenders is not. However, Dungeon Defenders 2 is available on PS4 right now, and we're actually right now working on the Loot and Survive update for it, which should be out hopefully in early December. Let's see. Should bring in more of the art team. We will. We have plans to bring in the art team soon to show off some of the cool new stuff for the Harbinger before it comes out. So cool. Let's. Oh man, this is a long question. All right, let's see. In maps, this is from Lalajita. Oh, there's a question mark at the end.
Yay! All right.
Okay.
So it's actually a
question. Yeah, I'm gonna find out what it is as I read it. In maps where players give up sub-objectives and let two lanes converge into one, RNG plays a big part into how difficult the map is going to be. If the player gets lucky and resistances match up, building to defend against those two lanes is much easier than if it was physical and magical versus converging together. Do you have any plans to address this, or perhaps find a way to reward players for beating a more difficult map where the resistances are less than ideal?
Yeah. To kind of address this, I'll talk a little bit about resistances. We're talking a lot about resistances internally because it's kind of not a very fun constraint, right? What we'd like to do is present you guys with problems that you can solve with multiple paths, right? Right now, the way it works, at least with resistances, is if something is magically resistant, you can only deal with it when you don't deal magical damage to it, and instead deal physical damage to it. And you can imagine early on when a new player is coming in, or when you guys were new players yourselves, you're playing the game, resistances were becoming more and more important. You had this, or you're playing as the Squire, you got him super high level, you're really happy with the way he looks. Then you get a physical resistance lane, and you're basically, not in a very good spot because all of your towers are dealing physical damage, and now you're kind of at a very large disadvantage. So based on that, we'd like to kind of look at the resistance system and see what we can do that's kind of interesting and poses cool challenges that have multiple solution paths rather than one. And to talk about sub-objectives, obviously if we do that, then the sub-objective problem will not be as bad and potentially even disappear. But we do, also talk about sub-objectives not being as impactful or as punishing as we'd like them to be. And obviously, like you said, sometimes it's really not that punishing, and sometimes it's more challenging to deal with. So we would like to unify that as well.
So maybe Butter can take a look at a piece of loot if you didn't pick them all up already. We'll see if we can read. Oh man. Can you guess from here?
Can't guess.
What does it have on it, Butter?
Says defense critical chance, decrit chance increased by +2%, life leech on hit, heal for 21.
What's your secondary?
Secondary is DP, defense power.
Yeah, there we go. So he got a weapon that had a secondary that was defense oriented, and it dropped with a bunch of defense passives as well. Maybe starting to look at armor sets can be potentially interesting because they don't really, it's all about the secondaries there. Looking at some medallions, we'll be able to see more examples like that, where you get a defense or an offense or a hero offense or a hero health one, and all your passives are kind of focused on that.
It's a pair of boots.
Pair of boots, and it looks like, is that hero health and hero crit damage?
Hero magic resist, hero health, and hero crit damage.
Yeah, there we go. And what passives did you get?
Hero crit chance and pickpocket.
Oh man, all hero stuff.
Yep, so it kind of is starting to line up, and you can see that happening now.
Sweet.
Pretty dope.
Yes, Lego Boy 0725. This is a new Squire skin that's coming out, which is pretty awesome.
Dankfire Squire.
Its name is not Dankfire, but it should be. Its name should be Dankfire. I will agree with that. So cool. So now at 5:30, guys, we're gonna make the announcement for today's stream. So kind of 5 minutes until then. That'll be fun. I'm short-circuiting the schedule a little bit, but I think you'll know which image to pull up. Right, Butter?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. So right now we have the second question from the forum. So guys, every week, and I heard that Josh may have not made it for this week. So if he hasn't yet, he will as soon as he gets back to North Carolina. He posts a forum topic for you guys to ask questions on what you want to know from us basically every week, and then we go over them on the stream. So the second question is, any chance on receiving a new hero this year?
This year, as in the one that's about to end? Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not. So the stuff that we're working on this year, guys, just to give you guys a heads up, and I think there's a forum topic on this. If not, Josh is working on one, and it should be up soon. We have some new maps coming, some old maps returning as well. We have a new boss. We have new weapons. We have
improvements. We're talking about the passives and that 38 to 50 stuff that we're talking about.
Yep, various improvements to the game, which in particular, I'll elaborate on those for people who don't know, are Probably the two biggest problems I think we've heard reported. One is loot dropping targeted to players, so really focused on being able to find a hero piece or a
all defense piece,
all defense piece of gear. And then in addition to that, fixing the 38 to 50 gap. Do we know how we're going to do that yet?
I don't want to talk about it fully because we're still kind of testing it out. If you are in the group of people who are playing it, you will definitely feel it. Obviously, you'll be able to get a lot better items and better quality items, which was a big deal because right around level 38, 39, you kind of get all the loot that you can get for that bracket, but you still have like 12, 11 levels to go through of content, so there was no real reward. That should potentially be fixed, and we obviously did a lot of things to kind of help guide you a little bit more, and give you more fun things to do for that gap.
We're also working on the weather system, which you guys can see here. We're working on 6 things already. There's a lot of stuff we're working on the new social tavern, which I don't know if it'll come out before the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but a good bit of work has been done on it.
But yes, we are significantly working on it. We are working on a bunch of holiday stuff too, which should be fun. So we'll show that to you guys sometime soon. What else are we working on?
New cosmetics.
New costumes. Yeah, I said that. And there's a couple of other things too. New pets. There's some new pets that we're working on as well. Obviously, the month is changing soon.
Yes.
So you guys will be seeing a new pet in the future.
And a new way of doing the monthly that's slightly different. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. We looked at, a lot of the monthlies up to this point have involved kind of a random element to it, which felt a little annoying for players that were kind of, wanting to kind of log in and do progress towards it on a daily basis. So this time around, we're trying one that doesn't really have any randomness to it. So the 3 conditions are all things that you can do tangible progress towards every time you log in. So let us know how you feel about that. And obviously the rewards are a little better. We're giving you a significant increase in the amount of gold that you get as well from it. So check that out.
Cool. We'd love if you guys want to tell us on what you think on monthly quests now. We're definitely kind of constantly reevaluating all the systems in the game. So I have another question here from Lalajito, which says, opening chests after completing a map does not feel exciting or very rewarding. What are your thoughts on the items contained in the chest having a higher item power level compared to what can drop on the map itself?
Yeah, we did set it up so that endgame chests will always give you the higher half of the eye power range for that particular bracket. If you're not, if that's not happening on a certain map, because we did do that in kind of a hasty, we were kind of time pressure and we did a lot of things during that update. If that's not happening for certain maps, then that's a problem that we need to fix. So make sure you bug that. But that was kind of the goal. That should already be in there. As for what else kind of comes out, we talk a lot about what other potential cool rewards can we give people in DT2, from quests, from endgame chests and things along those lines. And once we kind of start finalizing what those things can be, you'll start to see them as well pop their heads up in endgame chests.
So we have a question here from Lego Boy 0725, which is, can you please I actually added a please there.
Okay.
make a limit on how close item drops can spawn. Every time an egg drop, like 55 different things are in it, so I have to pick all of it up.
Is that again about endgame chests?
No, it's just about in general. I think when items drop from like killing an ogre or something, they're all clumped up.
Yeah, endgame chests and ogres kind of drop a bunch of things, and it doesn't kind of do it in a very intelligent way. It just kind of drops them all in a random location in a small area around either the boss or the chest. So that's something we've been aware of. And the biggest problem is you can't really sort through things easily, especially if there's a huge cluster of things on top of each other. We did have some sort of like solution which didn't really work very well for technical reasons, where loot was kind of pushed off of each other so that you can at least look at things more individually. But we kind of didn't continue working on that, but we will pick it back up eventually.
All right, guys, so it's time for the announcement for this week. This announcement is actually about the Harbinger. And I'll let the image show.
You ready?
I'm ready. So, guys, the Harbinger is coming out on December 15th. That was quick.
Sorry, hold on. I lost a tower.
Don't die. There, you can beat it first.
We did announce it when the ogres came, so he needs to deal with it.
Should have been like, no, this is a bad time. Wait.
This is a bad time. It is a bad time.
No.
Oh, you did it.
You did it.
But anyway, it's on screen. Release date.
So December 15th. This is the Harbinger. The Harbinger will awaken on December 15th. We have a new boss, some returning maps, some new maps, and a whole bunch of other stuff, which we're going to talk about over the next couple streams. Like I said, we won't be here next week because we'll be on vacation, but we will be here back in full force on the 4th to start to reveal to you more features about the patch. And everyone knows this temp name.
What, Carl?
Yeah, it's just going on and on. It's the Harbinger.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. It is the Harbinger.
Yeah. So I think my question for you is, how is the Harbinger coming along?
It's coming along really well. Yesterday we did a play test. Me, the level designers, and some of the designers, and it was a good bit of fun. It's insanely hectic. There's a lot that happens around the map. We've been experimenting more and more with that. You noticed with the kind of spooky event, there were Maldonis would spawn these areas. You'd have to go and defuse them, and then different things would start happening around the map. Carl the Harbinger kind of takes that.
Jeez, you just gave in.
Oops. Anyway, the Harbinger kind of takes that to the next level. There's a lot of things you need to pay attention for. There's some of his abilities do things to you that you kind of need to, react against. And it's really kind of coming together. It is almost a little too hectic right now, and we're kind of focusing in on that. There's some elements that we don't like fully that we'd like to tweak and we'll continue to work on, but there should be enough time for us to kind of nail it and get it right. And hopefully it'll be one of the cooler experiences in DD2 and kind of set the tone for things to come.
For the future bosses.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think, I also got to play it in the playtest a little bit. I think this is the first AI-controlled boss, so really enemy, actually, that's in the game. So it's definitely interesting from that aspect. We're obviously going to show him to you guys in the future before he comes out, so I think that'll be a lot of fun, too.
And also the map is really, really impressive looking. The settings for it, the theme for it's really kind of cool. So
yeah, and so this is, as you guys know, kind of our adventure packs, this is one of them, are what really progressed the story of Dungeon Defenders 2. So we have our heroes. They've kind of been escorting the Eternia Crystal away from the hooded figure that you guys can see in the intro cinematic, and they've been taking it through Dragonfall to kind of bring it up to the king and his son in order to protect it. And that's kind of where the game left off from previously. So, this actually picks up right there and then. Right there, so you've just gotten to the top of Dragonfall, and then you get to find out what happens next when the patch comes out. But obviously something happens which ends up with you fighting the Harbinger, which I think will be really, really exciting for you guys. And then, so there are some cool weapons that I've heard about. I think we have this to show people as well.
We have some pictures to show.
Yeah, we have some pictures. We're going to have some videos in the future, some further reveals of the cool stuff that's happening. But today we have some beautiful concept art for you guys.
There they are. Obviously, you'll notice they're all themed around the Harbinger.
You got that wrong again. I was going to smack you.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. In my brain, I almost said it again.
These look fantastic.
They look fantastic. You can see the shield. There's a little...
Is especially dope.
It is especially... And it's even missing kind of one aspect of it that even... him up there you don't see, which is his cape and what's important about it. You'll kind of get to see that, I guess, as you play the game. I can't really talk about what they will do, but they are definitely a bit more involved. What we're trying to
talk about one of them. Pick one of them.
Pick one. All right.
What it may do. This is what it might do.
What it might do.
A programmer is currently working on it, so maybe this will happen.
I'll talk about the monks.
The monks
one, you see the double fists, yeah. So before I talk about that, what we're trying to do with these weapons, up till this point, we always kind of released a weapon and you said, this one is defense-oriented, and then release another one and say, this one's hero-oriented. What we're trying to do is have them kind of be, you'll get, this cool polearm with the two fists, and you'll hover over it and it'll say, it has
fisting stack. Oh jeez, that's not his name.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah. So you might get basically a defense version of it or an offense version of it, and they both have really cool effects. So for example, the defense version for that one, what we're thinking of, again, it's not finalized, but it's all about
tower shoot fists.
Maybe the defense one, but the hero one basically is all about a pole smash. Obviously, the monk grabs his super cool staff, slams it into the ground. Except when he does that, you'll see kind of an image of his really cool arms kind of pummel the ground as well.
Oh man,
yeah,
that
and
would be awesome.
Deal a good bit of damage. And it'll create kind of a crater with a kind of fist imprint, very similar to kind of Riot Games' logo. And then after a short period of time, another fist will emerge and uppercut, so you get the 1-2 punch.
Oh, sweet. So
yeah.
you're basically kind of like marking an area on the ground to
Mhm.
hit, and then when enemies come through it again, you'll get that second punch.
Basically.
That sounds pretty awesome.
And they're all, what we're really working on now is theming them all around things that he does in the fight, which we think will be pretty cool. I won't talk about his defense one yet, but obviously it'll also involve some fists, and we'll take it from there.
You want to talk about it yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, guys, so that will be a future reveal. So all of these are going to hopefully have defense and offensive versions, which I think will be...
We can talk about a defense one for someone else.
Okay, pick another one. What
Alright,
one do you want to pick on the defense version?
Let's talk about, I guess, the bow.
Okay.
The Huntress one. So in the fight, he does stuff with spikes that come from the ground. Spoiler alert. But basically, we're taking the geyser trap. And obviously, geyser trap, when enemies walk into it, water springs up and they get knocked up. Except when that happens, a giant spike will emerge.
From the sky or from the ground?
From the geyser trap itself.
Inside the geyser trap?
Yeah, basically there'll be water and a big spike. And it'll do a good bit of damage to the target that hit it. And then after a short period of time, that spike will burst and fire several shards in a small area around it and deal damage to enemies as well. So you get, again, that 1-2 punch of big spike, explosion of little crystal shards.
Cool. See, if only Butter had the new car weapons.
Yeah. Oh well.
Then your geyser traps could have been more effective.
I would have double fisted this match.
I don't think anyone else said double fisted. That was just you. So cool, guys. So the Harbinger is coming out on the 15th of December. It's really exciting. Level up, prepare yourselves to take him on. Obviously, he'll be added to the end of campaign, so for those of you that are still in campaign, you'll be able to play him. But in addition to that, he's going to be added to all the different difficulty modes too. So I think we play tested the Nightmare 4 version.
We play tested Nightmare 1 version, but we had
1,
Nightmare 4 version and we still lost. We had the Nightmare 4 gear and we still lost. So
okay,
a little not balanced
yet. A little difficult stuff.
Yeah.
Mithrax wants to know, is the geyser spike trap physical damage?
The Harbinger's one?
Yeah.
Probably not. We do want to keep it themed to what the geyser does, and the geyser currently does magical.
So Lalajita wants to know, do you have any plans to make maps specifically tailored to DPS heroes that don't require builders, just to mix things up?
We do want to mix things up. That is something we are actively working towards. It's one of our big focuses potentially going forward. Whether that specific idea happens, not entirely sure. But we do want to do something to kind of give you more variety in the things that you can do in our game.
So Silly Goose Stream wants to know, will the collector's pack still be purchasable at Christmas? Like to buy it, but I don't know if I can afford it for the full price. Yes, it'll most likely still be purchasable. We're going to give everyone a heads up when the packs are shifting. We are going to shift the packs, but then we kind of sat down and thought about it for a while, and we're like, why are we doing this right now? It was a lot of work, and it wasn't really necessary. It's just something that we kind of were like, hey, let's shift the packs. And we're like, yeah, let's shift the packs. So does anyone want us to shift the packs? Is there any reason to shift the packs? Maybe we should be working on something else, like a new boss.
Right.
So, so instead of working on something else, we will definitely be adding more packs into the future. You guys know the inventory pack is available now. Basically, I think some threads popped up in the forum afterwards, but just finding packs that interest and excite you guys and have things that you guys want to purchase that we can put on sale. So we'll be looking into that in the future. And for now, yeah, the collector's pack is going to stay up because you guys like it and you guys want it to be up. So Gage Meister says, do you guys plan to allow us to rename heroes? Eventually.
That can be a thing.
Yeah, eventually I think we will. It's just working on the boss and some other things now. But I definitely think, as we get into the future, we're going to be looking over some of that stuff and making sure it's in. All right, so this is actually oh man, so it says hashtag Assault V2. Just talking about that. Yeah. We'll see. All right, so will you guys ever include map-specific loot again? Yeah,
definitely. Actually, don't hold this against us, but you might see it in this update. Obviously, the boss is going to have his boss drops, but you might get in the winter themed maps. Not all of them will have snow. Obviously, it's not snowy everywhere in Etheria.
I think they're good with the Carl weapons now.
Yeah. So in the wintry maps, you'll get a very specific winter themed drop that you can obviously do things with. We do want to do kind of map themed rewards or more map themed rewards going forward in the future. We do that almost with every update. Obviously, Spooky had its own thing. This guy will have his own thing, and Winter will have its own thing. But we kind of want to see how we can take that even further in the future.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that we definitely need to do a better job of surfacing
Yeah.
what the map specific loot is. Right now, the Malthus Incursion has map specific loot. Betsy has map
Betsy has
specific
map-specific
loot.
loot.
Spooky has map specific loot, and Carl is obviously
Carl.
sorry, the Harbinger has map specific loot. I know. Damn.
Yay, 1-1.
We need to pick the names for things before we create them, so that we don't use a code.
I mean, he had like 3 names, so it's a little tricky.
Really?
It was a
What
little
his name
tricky.
before Carl?
Carl? No, it was
that
Carl,
was the first one.
Harold, Harbinger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's the Harbinger now. So yeah, the Purge Evil can also drop in other places too now, but I think it's a higher chance to get it on the Malthus Incursion.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
cool. So yes, there is map specific loot, and there will continue to be in the future. All right. The next question is, when will we fix pet ability rerolls?
I hope soon. Last stream, I wasn't really aware that it kind of caught me by surprise, and I went outside, and QA came up to me and said, "Yeah, this thing's been broken for a while." So I do hope we fix it sooner rather than later. That said, we do have a lot of things that we're working on, so sometimes we can't get to these as quickly as we like.
So Gaugemeister says yes. There's also onslaught specifically as well.
Yes, there is
Some
also
cool
specific
items
as well. That is true.
So then the next question is there a possibility of an option coming to refund or swap costumes when you're tired of them? I bought a few costumes I have not used. Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a costume, you have a costume. So unfortunately, that's how that goes. Next question, how is crafting coming along?
It's coming along well. It's still in kind of the ideation stage, kind of the early design stages. Like we said earlier, we're kind of doubling down on this boss fight, on getting that as awesome and as cool as it can be. And then we're going to, obviously, knowing where our head is with this kind of crafting system, we're going to then figure out when we actually build it.
Mm-hmm. So we have a question, which is about builds and passives. It says, for many builds, there are numerous item slots where the passives just aren't interesting or impactful, and players default to defense crit chance. Are there any more passives coming soon?
Passives coming soon, yes. We always try to add with every single update a good bit of passives. We do have something else planned that's going to kind of change the way you interact with build items, or those really special legendary items that'll make it a lot cooler and hopefully a lot more interesting. But again, similar to crafting, it's still in the ideation stage, and we'll eventually get to it. But yeah, we definitely want to add more and more passives as we keep going.
When will you fix flamethrower aggro? They are drawing too much now, and ranged enemies are being mean.
Ranged enemies are being mean. We'll have to look into that. It already had really low aggro or the first time we released it. That might have changed recently. I'll have to check on that. But yeah, they're not meant to pull aggro. They can't handle it. So hopefully we'll get that fixed.
Okay. So the next question is, when are we getting the detailed descriptions of the hero abilities?
Detailed description of it.
I think
soon.
it's coming soon. in the game.
Soon, yes. It's still coming soon.
Will you update the auto collect system so that you can have multiple auto collect options per bag?
Yeah, we got that in reasonably quickly. And we did talk a great deal about where we kind of want to take inventory in the future, and we kind of revealed future plans for that. Obviously, we're going to keep working towards that, getting that done. And it does include more sorting options and auto-collect options for you guys to use.
DD Dennis says that he just wants to let us know that we're doing an amazing job and he loves the game.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what
you.
we like to hear.
Thank you, DD Dennis. So Preparation wants to know, are the hero accessories in the Defenders pack the same as the starter pack? I bought both and got 2 sets of the same accessories. Yes. So the accessories that you get from those 2 packages are the same. The next question is number 10 on the list, not from anyone because the names aren't here, which is, when will the Squire get his real 4th tower, not the hilarious training dummy which serves no purpose?
Well,
Please tell me there's a build coming, because that would be awesome.
this boss, Harbinger, Harold Carl, his defense build is about the hilarious spinning training dummy, and it actually makes it pretty cool. So
is it going to make it look like Carl?
No.
That's what it should do. It needs to suit up the training dummy.
It should
look like Carl. That'd be awesome.
But it won't. But it is
And the
all
Harbinger.
about
Now we're just
it's over. Just let's.
I know,
give
no,
in.
no. We're going back. Going back.
It is all about the training dummy, so yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be the new OP build in the game where everyone's like, we love the training dummy, it's the best thing.
I mean, everyone's gonna like the new flavor of the month, and hopefully eventually there will be some more diversity to things.
Cool. So we have a question from Shadow Launch which says, can we get hotkeys to change heroes on the fly while building?
I mean, we talked about that a good bit, like a hot swap feature. We even talked about that for combat phase, like. We're talking. I think. It was very. Again, don't hold us to it. But the idea of being able to, like, knock an enemy up, hot swap, do something to them in the air, and hot swap back. But yeah, we are thinking about hot swap, just as iPass Butter dies.
And Shibin, see if you could have swapped, he would have been good. And Shibin wants to know, will you improve the cannon tower sphere? It's barely getting any use.
Yeah, that guy's been a problem for a while. There's not much use for that specific Uber now. We do still want to fix it. It's just a matter of when we kind of can look at it again.
Bowling ball turret. Yeah.
Make it bounce.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Question number 11. When trading is implemented in the future, will it use Steam trading system or are there plans to create an in-game system?
That's a good question.
Dummy hype. Everyone's excited now.
Yeah. All right.
That's what we wanted.
Dummy hype. Yeah. Trading. We would like to use Steam trading. There's a really cool ecosystem on Steam. There's some really cool things that you can do with that. We're not entirely sure if we would, but it is kind of a desire to at least explore it and see what we can, how we can potentially integrate that into DD2.
I definitely think it'd be cool to use Steam trading, at least initially, because then with less work we have to
do. If it already exists,
the UIs and everything,
why not use it?
Your trade stuff on Steam. So yeah. It's definitely something we'll be looking at as we continue to investigate trading into the future. Question number 12. It's excitement. All right. So will the DPS number on the tower display be updated to reflect the expected value of crit and crit damage?
We'd like to update those. We haven't touched those in a good while. It was before we even redid the kind of loot system. We haven't really touched them since. We need to kind of make a pass on tower inspect or tower display and make sure that it's displaying the right information.
All right, question number 13. What is the reasoning behind the change in melee attack animation from DD1 to DD2?
We talked about this a lot early in development on some of our streams. Basically in DD1, we call it kind of the lawnmower syndrome, where you just press and hold the button and kind of walk and do your slicey thing, especially if you're a melee hero. What we wanted to do in DD2 is kind of make it more impactful, more visceral, and you kind of think about the combat that you're doing. You kind of understand, especially now that we have weapon variety, what it means to have a fast weapon where you can hit really, really fast and it moves you around a lot, and a really slow weapon that's kind of lumbering but hits super hard. And the biggest goal with that was to kind of make the melee combat more exciting, more kind of visceral. Obviously, if you've been playing DD1 for a while, it's going to feel very different, and you might not potentially enjoy it. But our goal was to kind of make it feel great and feel interesting.
So here's a question about Frosty Powder from Momolicious. It says, will we ever make it viable for actual towers?
That's an interesting question. When we made that build, it was all about attrition. Right, it works really, really well with attrition. Doesn't really work well with other towers. Obviously, if you're maybe trying to do something where you're building things really close to blockades and hoping that would happen, it's not very effective then. What we like to do with our builds, or with most of our game as well, you kind of hear us talk about this a lot, is pick something that something's really, really good at and something it's really, really bad at, and kind of the Frost Tower embodies that, where it's really good with attrition, but not really good with regular defensive setups. And we kind of want to keep true to that, because if everything's really good at everything, then nothing's really special.
So the follow-up question, which has already been asked, is how do you plan to make backline defenses on par with traps that benefit from Frosty Fire /Frosty Fire?
Then that comes back to the diversity problem that we have. Obviously, we've started builds, I think several months ago, and we've been continuously adding more and more to the game. As we start to add more, and as we hit kind of a critical mass of different cool legendary weapons that combine in different ways, you'll have more variety of things to do. So yeah, right now, traps and Frosty Power might be the best thing, but when there's more things in the game, especially that target blockade builds rather than attrition builds, there'll be that comparison, or things will be on par again. So just give us some time.
Everyone's already so excited about the dummy.
Damn.
I'm excited about the dummy.
Do you even know what it does, Santana, or you don't?
I have no idea what it does. Hopefully it's just really, really healthy and just pulls a lot of aggro.
What we're trying to do with it, I mean, it's super healthy, obviously, otherwise you won't use it. But what we're trying to do with it hasn't really been done in DD2 before. It hasn't been done in DD1 before, and it was really overpowered. But we're hoping to fix that.
With the training dummy?
Not with the training dummy, but the unique mechanic that's attached to it that the build gives it.
Okay.
That I can't tell you right now.
Oh,
no.
man.
It's very very volatile.
I was going to ask you after the stream.
Yes, you
So
are.
the question we kind of get asked a bunch is related to swapping the hero deck characters on a hotkey. So yes, that is definitely something
Mhm.
that we're looking into. So here we have our next question is, will there be an option to disable the new melee animation? No.
No, we're kind of committed to this
Mhm.
this method.
Yeah. Are there any plans on future maps to make them larger with possibly cool environmental things to fling, throw, toss, shoot you across the map?
Speaking of things that fling, throw, toss, shoot you across the map, are the hub, the actual new hub, actually has something like that. But to talk about actual gameplay maps, I kind of hinted at this earlier in the stream. We're focusing a lot on, right now, diversity. What are cool things that we can do with the maps? You know, we've done the defense thing for a good bit of time, you know, the very 3-4 lanes, and, you know, things come down and you kind of defend them. What we want to do, obviously, we don't want to change the minute-to-minute interactions of building up defenses and doing, you know, defending and that minute-to-minute gameplay, but we want to do cooler things with the maps, and that's going to be our focus. So definitely look out for some of these improvements.
Nosh Job says, do you know that this month's pet is one hitting Nightmare 4 Ogres?
We should check that. So
That's something you should write down.
yeah.
All right, and then the last question for the forum. So guys, remember, if you join the Dungeon Defenders forums, you have questions for the Devstream. You're not going to be able to make it to Devstream to ask. Please put them in the Devstream forums comments. We can answer them. So there's any chance we can hear about some ideas being thrown around in design land about the future item enhancement systems?
Let me think. I mean, you have a lot of loot. There's a great deal of loot, and all you can do with them right now is kind of sell them. And that's something we're really looking at, right? We want items to be exciting, and that's kind of the same for pets too. We want, when you get something that you don't really have a direct use for equipping and using, to still feel exciting because you can potentially have other benefits to it, right? And that's kind of one of the things at the root of this thing that we're doing with item enhancement, or the improved crafting system. So there's that. There's obviously a lot of cool things that we want you to be able to do. It's not just reliance or dependence on, you know, the RNG game. We want to give you guys more control. Obviously, we don't want it to kind of cheapen the gameplay. You still have to go out. That's why I said there's a lot of loot in the game. We want you to go out into the game, get a lot of loot, and do really cool things with the loot. So you can imagine potentially taking like 20 items, doing something to them to get something very specific that does something very specific to the weapon that you really love, and things along those lines. Sorry, very vague terms, but I can't really go much deeper.
But basically, it should accomplish those goals.
Yeah, those are the goals that we're trying to hit. As Butter, I think, struggles to survive.
Yeah, well,
I'm probably about to die again.
Yeah.
Gotta stop playing, or was that?
There we go.
Oh, there you go. Well, we can just run around the tavern and show off the Evan
Thanks,
Fire
Fire.
Squad. Yeah, thanks, Fire. All right, so last question, and then we'll do lightning rounds. This is from Mo Malicious. My bow currently has fire damage 504, as well as incinerate 5% chance on hit to burn the target for 296 magical fire damage each second for 4 seconds. I have 2 questions about that. 1, does the chance on hit work with spells? And 2, can the 504 fire damage or the 296 burn critically strike?
504 can critically strike. 294 can critically strike. It does not happen on ability hit. It only happens on auto attacks. There we go.
All right, lightning round. Ready?
Yep.
Are there any chances of Grumpy Pets getting an empowerment reroll
Yes.
so they're actually useful? Any hints of new maps you guys are working on that we can take a look at?
Yes.
Can we have some more item-specific weekends?
Yeah, sure.
Squire should have a catapult defense. It's perfect for his kit. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Have you guys ever considered putting some maps from DD1 to DD2?
Yes, we have.
More pet eggs coming soon?
Yep.
Any plans about increasing the size of the tavern?
Yeah. I mean, we're working on a new one.
Is it intentional that you can't place explosive traps as close to each other as you can Elemental Chaos?
Yes, that is intentional.
Will we get an option to rename heroes?
Yeah, one day.
Any plans on making the tower range show the actual boosted range of the tower instead of just the base range in the blue tile graph before placing it?
Yeah, that's a bug.
Is there going to be any love shown to towers like cannons and flame burst for Nightmare 4 builds?
Yep.
Will there be any effective tower synergies introduced to the game?
Hopefully, yes.
Will there be any new spheres or Uber spheres coming soon?
Soonish. Yes.
Have you thought of creating Uber spheres or anything else like Hunter's Elemental Chaos Sphere that allow classes to deal with both physical and magical damage?
Yeah, we considered that. We talked a bit about it.
Cool. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. We're going to leave you with a new video. You've already seen some of the winter maps that we have to show you for the Harbinger, who's coming out on December 15th. But we wanted to leave you with a nice little matinee that Alex had placed together. So switching back to the Evan and Fire Squire before we show it. But it's like, I can't play without him.
Wow, he looks so cool.
So yeah, so we're going to be running a winter event, which we're going to be giving you guys more details about in the coming weeks. That will also release when the Harbinger awakens. And the maps are going to look like this, which is really cool. I think the dev team did a fantastic job making everything look like winter with this new weather system.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see this and some of the other systems come online related to it. I think we have, one other overlay?
Yeah, we do two
other ones?
Things, yeah. There's the Nightmare, the Autumn.
Okay.
Right.
Are those?
There's a bunch of.
Well, there's a bunch planned, but I meant for the Harbinger.
For the Harbinger. Yeah.
We'll have to see which ones are planned.
Yeah.
Cool. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Remember, the Harbinger awakens December 15th. We're going to be getting some stuff up on the website about that tonight, shortly, to let you guys see. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, we'll be off next week for Thanksgiving, but tune in the week after for some cool new reveals.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.